As autumn deepens and golden fields surrender their harvest to the season, a quiet creature keeps watch in the forgotten corners where sunlight rarely lingers. The corn snake, draped in warm shades of russet and amber, moves silently between the remnants of the past and the fertile soil of new beginnings. Tonight, follow me into an old weathered barn and discover how this gentle wanderer transforms quiet movement into a lesson about patience, acceptance, and grace. May this story woven from red-brown scales and autumn shadows offer your heart a peaceful refuge amid the noise of the night. Some lives do not announce themselves with grandeur. They simply drift through the river of time, leaving subtle traces behind. The story of the corn snake is an exploration of how one can preserve an inner essence while the seasons endlessly change. Between stacks of hay and ancient wooden beams, it glides without conflict or competition, painting each passing moment with its warm and comforting colors. Allow the stillness hidden within this old barn to accompany this gentle narration and carry away the worries and exhaustion of your day. In an age obsessed with speed and constant pursuit, the corn snake has chosen a different rhythm. Moving quietly through the cracks of time, it resembles an autumn leaf turning crimson before returning to the earth, embodying a profound wisdom of reflection and renewal. Tonight, we will not speak of hunting instincts or survival alone. Instead, we will explore the quiet devotion with which it watches over its world. May this warm and restrained story become a soothing remedy before sleep, helping you rediscover your own natural rhythm and peace. Prologue. As autumn winds sweep across the countryside and paint the fields in shades of gold, countless creatures begin searching for shelter and security. Yet within the wooden skeleton of an aging barn, a pair of amber eyes remains open, quietly observing the slow cycles of the world. The corn snake, clothed in intricate patterns of red, brown and copper, has devoted its life to the art of waiting and wandering. Many people think of snakes as cold and emotionless beings. Yet beneath that calm exterior lies a remarkable sensitivity to the changing seasons and the subtle movements of the earth. Rather than gamble its future upon the dangers of the open wilderness, the corn snake chooses to weave its existence into forgotten corners abandoned by time and human hands. Within every crack between the hay, every weathered plank, and every pocket of warm soil, it listens carefully to the faint pulse of life surrounding it. This is not a tale of danger or aggression. It is the story of how a corn snake transforms the passing years into a quiet poem written in shades of amber and rust. Moving between light and shadow, it patiently shapes its character in silence. Its calm restraint possesses the power to remind anxious hearts that peace is often found not through action, but through acceptance. As the night settles and your breathing slows to match the rhythm of this story, join me in stepping deeper into the stillness of the barn. There we will discover the stars, the fields, and the wisdom hidden within the eyes of a silent guardian. Chapter 1. His name was Elias. Among generations of corn snakes that had inhabited these lands, he was merely one humble witness to the passage of time. Elias began his life beneath a pile of aging hay inside the barn. The first thing he ever saw was not the brilliance of the sun, but delicate beams of light filtering through cracks in the wooden walls. To him, the world appeared as a maze of shadows and golden fragments. His earliest lesson was learning how to become part of that shifting landscape, blending his red-brown scales into the patterns of light and darkness surrounding him. Unlike many creatures, Elias felt no urgency to explore distant horizons. Most days were spent among dry husks and scattered straw, listening to the tiny footsteps of rodents hidden beyond the walls. Those faint sounds became his first connection to the wider world. One winter remained forever etched in his memory. As frost crept across the barn windows and cold winds rattled the wooden beams, Elias retreated deep beneath the earth where traces of warmth still lingered. His stillness was not an act of surrender. It was a gathering of strength. Curled within the darkness, he listened to his own breathing and felt every scale respond to the pressure of the frozen season above. This was more than waiting for spring. It was a lesson in endurance. A lesson in allowing empty spaces to exist without fear. When the first warm breeze of spring finally slipped through the cracks in the barn, Elias emerged once again. His scales shimmered with renewed brilliance, glowing like polished amber. It seemed as though he had spent the entire winter collecting sunlight and storing it deep within his veins. Chapter 2. If Elias's growth was an art of movement, then every journey beyond the barn became an exploration of destiny itself. As flowers bloomed and grasses stretched toward the sun, he ventured farther into the surrounding fields. Moving through wild vegetation, he resembled a humble traveler rather than a hunter. Each inch of earth revealed a new sensation. Each breeze carried messages from distant places. One day he encountered a shadow circling overhead. A hawk. For the first time, Elias felt the immense vulnerability of life beneath the laws of nature. Yet he did not panic. He did not flee blindly. Instead, he merged with the landscape. His patterned scales aligned perfectly with the textures of the earth and dry grasses until he seemed to disappear entirely. Through this mastery of concealment, Elias became almost invisible. He learned that true survival often depends not on strength, but on stillness. Not on resistance, but on timing. Gradually, he discovered a deeper truth. Real power is not measured by the force of a response. It is measured by one's ability to leave the smallest possible trace upon the world and allow danger to pass harmlessly by. During these journeys, he formed a silent dialogue with the land itself. Through sensitive scales pressed against the earth, he sensed approaching rain, shifting temperatures, and subtle changes in the soil. He became so deeply connected to his surroundings that he seemed less like a visitor and more like an extension of the fields themselves. This harmony brought him a profound sense of freedom. He no longer worried about being seen. He no longer hurried to find prey. He simply moved, and in that movement discovered peace. Chapter 3. Time eventually left its mark upon Elias. The vibrant red-brown scales of his youth became softened by age, and the bright eyes that once gleamed in darkness grew calmer and wiser. No longer an explorer, he became a guardian of the land surrounding the barn. He hunted only when necessary and spent much of his time resting among ancient bundles of straw. His needs became fewer. His desires became simpler. Each breath and heartbeat seemed synchronized with the timeless rhythm of the earth itself. This slower pace brought a freedom unlike anything he had known before. Watching old companions disappear into the distance of memory, Elias felt neither sorrow nor regret. Instead, he carried a quiet compassion for the land that had nurtured him throughout his life. One autumn night, beneath a sky painted with deep shades of crimson and gold, Elias felt a weariness he had never known before. He found a dry and comfortable pile of straw and slowly coiled himself one final time. Within the embrace of darkness and silence, every muscle relaxed. Every burden dissolved. It was not an ending filled with fear. It was a return. A solemn reunion with the earth that had sheltered him since the beginning. He felt no regret. The peace he had protected for so many years had already become part of the soil, woven into the spirit of the barn itself. What Elias left behind was not a legacy of conquest or achievement. It was a quiet image, a warm red-brown shadow moving between light and darkness. A reminder of what true peace looks like. Epilogue. As the final glow of autumn disappeared beyond the horizon, the old barn returned to silence. The life of Elias settled gently into memory, like a grain of sand sinking into a sea of golden wheat. The story of the corn snake is ultimately a story about preserving one's inner essence through long seasons of waiting and uncertainty. It is a philosophy of remaining steady while the world continues to change. Whenever you feel lost within the noise of modern life, remember Elias. Remember the quiet traveler whose red-brown scales moved patiently through shadows and sunlight. He did not fight the world. Nor did he allow the world to define him. Through patience and restraint, he transformed himself into an unshakable center of calm. That kind of strength is more powerful than force. It resembles a single grain of wheat resting deep within a barn, quietly holding the promise of renewal. Tonight, allow the image of Elias to accompany you into sleep. May his gentle presence guide you toward a place of stillness hidden within your own heart. May you face life's unknown storms with the same quiet confidence and preserve the warm, steady core that belongs only to you. Rest now. Every pursuit has come to an end. Every worry can slowly dissolve into silence. May your dreams be gentle, your sleep be deep, and your night be filled with lasting peace.